Welcome to NFL. Here's your host, Dames Marvs.
Thank you, Billie Jean. She's not my lover. She's just a girl that claims that Frankie J's the one. Welcome back to NFL. This is week 6. You might be seeing things a little differently today. And why would that be? We're missing a person. Well, Gobo is on vacation. And I don't mean vacation when your dad dies and you tell your son that he's just on vacation. I mean literally, Gobo needed a vacation from the show. So we have this graphic of him in the swimming pool that we'll be playing right now. And I'm going to be your host for moving forward. I'm your host from week 6 on. And we'll see what happens in years to come. But Gobo will be participating when he can. He just is really busy. He can't do it on a weekly basis. And we all understood that. We had a long conversation about it, and here we are because we still want to talk about football with y'all. We got Frankie J in the house. How you doing, brother?
I'm here. I'm excited, and week 6 already. Holy smokes, the year is flying by.
I was just thinking that, but then I was like, there's 11 weeks of regular season left after this. So, yeah, I'm here for it. And then we got Biggity Ben Shrewsbury. How you doing, buddy?
As a Vikings fan, I know the season is moving fast for you guys, but as a Vikings fan, this season is snailing its way along right now.
And you've got a bye week this week. So
that doesn't make it better, I hope you understand.
Even slower, I'm sure. All right, well, let's talk about some news. First of all, we got a big trade, in my opinion. It shouldn't really be a big trade because this guy's older than the history of football, but Joe Flacco has been traded from the Cleveland Browns to the Cincinnati Bengals for a 5th and a 6th round pick in 2026. Frankie, what does this mean for the Bengals season moving forward?
For me, it's not a far move from Cincinnati to Cleveland, or Cleveland to Cincinnati in this case. For the Bengals moving forward at this very point, with the amount of quarterbacks not available just to scoop and put in there, I can't see it being any worse than the Browning experiment. I think he might give them a little bit better chance to win. He can still, zing that ball around. So if I'm a Cincinnati fan, I'm a little bit more excited this week than I was last week. Let's see if Flacco can maybe find his niche and take him to where he has to until Joe Cool comes back. So if I'm a Bengals fan, I'm not completely dissatisfied. It's Joe Flacco. He's proven. He's just old.
Very good. Ben, if you were the GM for the Bengals, is this the call you would have made, or is there someone else out there that you would have reached out to?
At a certain point, I think I would have punted on the season because they're just not very good. Okay, like their O-line is terrible. They have great weapons, I grant you, but they have no O-line. The reason Burrow got hurt the way he did is because their O-line collapsed. Part of the reason Browning has been as bad as he has been is because that O-line is terrible. Flacco is 40 and immobile. Like, I feel bad for Joe Flacco, if anything, because this guy should have, if he was going to get traded, it should have been somewhere that at least would have protected him. Cincinnati's not going to do that. This guy's going to get hurt. It's going to be Browning again.
Fair point. Dylan Gabriel, rookie quarterback for Cleveland, is now QB1. That happened last week, and that probably gave them the confidence they needed to trade Flacco. But that leaves what was QB3, Shedeur Sanders, now at QB2. And you can say what you want, but I blame the organization for what happened with him. They should never allow the media to interview a third-string quarterback. It doesn't matter what fanfare comes with it. He shouldn't even be on the docket for an interview. He's done nothing. He's not even part of the games. What are we talking to him for? And he has now moved up to QB2, so he may be in that conversation. He's one play away from being in the game. Frankie, go ahead and comment on what you wanted to say a minute ago.
Did we lose him?
Yeah, his internet.
I was wondering if it was my computer for a second. I was like, what the hell's going on?
Is it me that's not here?
Yeah, you're back now.
Okay. All right. So let's try that again. What was it? Oh, Frankie J, what's your comments on the Shedeur Sanders or Cleveland quarterback situation in general?
Well, don't forget Bailey Zappi is still on the roster there in Cleveland, so don't think for a second he's not in the mix when it comes to discussions on who will be potentially moving in the spot of the rookie. Shedeur Sanders, let's face it, 5th round. Only reason he was drafted is because his father was obnoxious like he was when he played. I haven't seen the kid play. Quite frankly, I'm not excited for him. His attitude sucks. He's cocky. He is not his dad. You're not going to recreate your own father. Be a spawn. Be a kid. Be your own person. I don't see it. I think, if anything, if Gabriel doesn't work out, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Zappi get put into the picture. I know Shedeur is number 2 right now on paper, but don't leave Bailey Zappi out of the conversation. That's what I got to say about that.
That's fair. Ben, I'm going to ask you point blank. Should Shedeur Sanders be a starter in this league?
No.
Should he get a chance?
No. I watched this guy at Colorado.
Okay.
I have seen what this guy can do. He did some very impressive things in a college offense in college. That was not a pro-style offense Colorado was running, especially not last year, which was arguably the better of his 2 years in college. It was not a pro-style offense. It wasn't even anything close, and he had a much better O-line.
I'm glad we acknowledged that he was phenomenal at a lot of things in college.
Yes, in a very, very different set of circumstances.
I do agree that not everything translates from college to pro. See, what's that dude from the Raiders?
Ashton Genty, he's been playing better.
No, the old quarterback.
Jamarcus Russell?
Phenomenal quarterback in college. Did not translate to the pro. He had all the tools that you would ever want.
Yeah, he just didn't have the IQ. That's the problem.
Yeah, IQ.
I have to jump in.
Go ahead.
Everybody has this misconception, and anybody wants to drop a comment and dispute what I'm about to say, please do so. We embrace comments and be part of the show. In any event, this college to pro thing really it irks me because you can have a number 1 pick, Caleb Williams. Let's use him as an example. How long has he been in the league? Going on year 3. He sucks. It doesn't matter how good you are in college. 1 to 2% of college players on a starting roster are going to the NFL. They're not NFL caliber. You can dance around in college and be the most amazing player and win a national championship, J.J. McCarthy, and you're going to go to the NFL, and it's a totally different league. It's not even remotely close to that of college play. It's faster. It is all the pros on the field at the same time versus maybe one pro you're playing against in college. So I hate this college NFL comparison. Okay, that's all I'd say about that.
Before we move on from that, I'm gonna go on record and say I'm not ready to throw in the towel on Caleb Williams or J.J. McCarthy yet. I'm just not.
I have thrown in the towel on both of them.
Both of them have won games in the NFL, so clearly there's something there. So let's move on. What do you guys think about that in the comments? I would love to know where you're at. You don't have to pick sides necessarily, but pick my side.
No, pick sides.
Please.
Hey. All right. Mark Sanchez. You know what, Ben? I'm going to let you take the lead on the Mark Sanchez story. What happened?
This is such a weird story. Like, full disclosure, I don't even know why we're talking about this because it's been talked to death already. But the interesting thing here is Mark Sanchez, the news breaks Sunday morning that he was stabbed overnight. Mark Sanchez stabbed just pops up on my Twitter timeline. It was baffling. And then it comes out that he's been arrested and will face felony battery charges for I guess, like, aggressing towards a 69-year-old man in a parking lot for telling him he couldn't park somewhere, even though he was a delivery driver that worked for the hotel that this happened at. Sanchez says he doesn't remember anything, which is hilarious to me.
It's the Frankie J defense. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was. Look, I have no sympathy for Mark Sanchez. He was a bad quarterback in the NFL. He's famous for one play. He's called butt fumble, okay? Like, people chant butt fumble at him at games he commentates. Who cares?
Ben, he got the 2 AFC championship games. He wasn't the worst quarterback to ever suit up for the New York Jets. Yeah, he had a butt fumble, but I would hate to say that that's his legacy. That's just something people remember him by. But he was by no means the worst quarterback ever in the history of the league.
Unfortunately, I remember those 2 AFC title games. He wasn't the worst quarterback for the Jets. I would argue they would take him right now over Justin Fields.
I agree.
But
I also think it's
people
funny
chant butt fumble at him.
I think it's funny that Frankie says that's not his legacy. It's what he's remembered for, which is technically the definition of legacy. All right, guys.
You know what I mean.
Let's talk about some injuries that we got coming up because, you know what? No, we'll talk about injuries before we talk about the games for week 6. Let's talk about week 5 because we all collectively shit the bed on our picks. Mm-hmm. I know that you guys didn't see our picks, but we saw them, and quite frankly, we should change them before we air this show just so we do not look incompetent. And like there's no reason for you to ever watch or listen to anything that we say because based on these picks, that's what you would think. Okay? Anyway, let's talk about the 49ers at Rams. This was when all this was going down, we were trying to figure out how to move forward on the show. So we didn't come together and make our picks. We made them independently and some at the last minute. I'm the only one that picked San Francisco, and I can't even tell you why I picked them, you guys. I think it was just because both of you said the Rams, and I hate the Rams. I hate the 49ers too, but this is like an implode building for me. Ben, why? How did San Francisco win this game?
So, you know how we talk about the other team in LA, the Chargers, when we say they chargered?
Yeah.
The Rams looked like the Chargers in this game for so much of it because Mac Jones, who, need I remind you, was benched and tossed aside in New England like the morning trash, and then went to Jacksonville and was somehow worse. Goes in to SoFi Stadium on a Thursday night where the Niners, all of their receivers were hurt. I don't even know who was playing receiver for them on Thursday. I don't care. Like, they just magically turned into Tom Brady again. He just magically turned into Tom Brady Thursday night. And he limped off the field by the end, which really, this was the Mac Jones game. Mac Jones just collectively lost his mind. Christian McCaffrey wasn't even that great Thursday night. He was good, but he wasn't like CMC 2 years ago good. And they still won the game with no Kittle, no receivers. What the hell?
Frankie, were you amazed by this victory, or were you just like Rams are ramming?
For me, it went right down to the last play of the overtime period, and any sane person who watches football, especially between the rivals there, the Rams and the Niners, he gets in the end zone. He doesn't fumble, but there's been a lot of fumbles, a lot of block kicks this season. So I have no skin in the game when it comes to these two teams. It was an exciting game to watch because they were back and forth, and it kind of reminded me when I was a little boy of the Kellen Winslow senior game when he was cramping up and they had to carry him off the field and he was a mess, and Mac Jones kind of played that part. So for me, am I surprised? No. A little bit that guy didn't secure the ball a little better going in. I'm sure he will now. And with fantasy people, they're saying start him. So obviously the team isn't let down on him. But no, the game went the way I thought it was. It was going to be a close game. The Niners are winning basically, I think, by the skin of their teeth, literally. And Mac Jones, he's undefeated as a starter for the 49ers. He's got a better record than Purdy. So I'm not surprised. I just thought the ending was kind of dramatic.
You know what I love about all this is they paid Purdy right before this, and then their backup quarterback is the exact same player.
Probably better.
Oh my God. Yeah. How do you even go back? How do you go back? I'd be like, your toe still hurts, right? Okay, thought so. Mac, you're in. You're in
We're
week
gonna.
6. All right.
Oh,
All right. Good times. Noodle salad. All right. Minnesota at Cleveland. What do you got, Ben?
This game was in London.
It was.
I watched this game later in the day because I was not getting up at 8 o'clock in the morning to watch Carson Wentz and Dylan Gabriel. No. This game was awful. Okay, this was a London classic steamer. Okay? For 3 quarters. The fourth quarter, highly entertaining. I will give them that. We had a long Carson Wentz drive that kind of looked like he was on the Eagles again. It was one drive. Don't get excited about it. He made one great throw to Jordan Addison at the end there for the touchdown. And then Dylan Gabriel proceeded to brown his pants on the ensuing Browns drive. And the Vikings, miraculously, are 3-2. This feels like we should be 0-5. We're 3-2. I don't know how.
Yeah, I mean, I understand it's hard to get up for a game where you know that Carson Wentz is going to be facing off against anybody really on your team. You don't really want that as your scenario. But the Dylan Gabriel story is it's something new, something exciting. I got up to watch it. Frankie, did you watch this game?
yeah, I got up and watched it. I had coffee and I watched football. And I didn't think it was the worst game. It wasn't the most exciting game of the week, but it was a back and forth game. And Carson Wentz, was he at his best? Absolutely not. But it was a good game. I was looking forward to the Cleveland defense playing good, and they did until they didn't. So I thought it was a pretty decent game for getting up at 9:30 on a Sunday. I wasn't mad I got up to watch it. It got me ready for pregame for the regular 1 o'clock games.
All right, question for both of you. 10 seconds. Ben, we'll start with you first. These overseas games, are you a fan? Yes or no?
No.
Is it your team or in general you don't want to see it?
I like the overseas games, but I wish they would be done in the early window here and in prime time there. So start the game at like 7 o'clock in England, for example, and then it'd start at 11 a.m. here. That would just make more sense to me.
I understand. Frankie, what are your thoughts on the internet?
I've never liked the overseas games. I didn't like when the Buffalo Bills had a partnership with the Toronto to do the Toronto series for as long as they did. It's a National Football League. It's an American sport. Spread the wings and maybe do a Pro Bowl overseas, maybe do a Super Bowl overseas, but to do regular season games, especially a team 2 weeks in a row being in Ireland and then over to London. I mean, those are games that fans are missing out on at home. I understand the business side of it, but no, I'm not a fan of the overseas games. I really don't like it. I never have liked it. I think it's something that is getting a little out of hand. And the reason they don't do a primetime game here is there would be no fans at 7 a.m. that would show up there. So it's kind of the fans are there, the stadium's there, so they got to do the games at 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 4 o'clock their time in order to fill the stadium. So to me, bring it back to the U.S. Stop this overseas crap.
All right. To round out this conversation, I will say that I love it. I'm a fan of it. I'm going to guess, based on your guys' responses, that you are anti-expansion to other countries.
I don't think logistically it would work.
Right, fair enough. So that's a no, and you're a no, Frankie. I'm interested to see what the proposal would be before I answer, but yeah. All right, here we go. Houston at Baltimore. You guys both picked Baltimore. I think maybe you might have thought Lamar was playing. I happen to know that he wasn't. We didn't have a chance to discuss it with each other, so
There was talk Thursday that he might play, and that's why I picked Baltimore.
okay. Well, and they have a better roster, don't they?
Yes.
Do they?
Yes.
Frankie? What do you...
Then Houston, they have a way better roster. They have Derrick Henry. Just hand him the ball and let him run all day.
I mean, he is responsible for 2 huge losses this year because of his fumbles. So
True. Touche.
But that's not historically Derrick Henry. Anyway, that's a losery game. It was a rout, 44-10 Houston, and now they get the bye week. They're riding high right now, and they should be because Baltimore was a lot of people's favorites for the Super Bowl. I just don't see it anymore. Miami at Carolina. This game was insanity, guys. Insanity. On face value, Ben, this game appeared to be a snooze fest, a boring game that no one would ever want to watch. But it turned out being an amazing comeback. I think Carolina was down 17-0 at one point. What did you see out of this Carolina team, and specifically Bryce Young, that gives you
Nothing.
their future?
Nothing. Miami shit the bed. That's what happened.
Okay.
Again, this Dolphins team did it again. We thought Mike McDaniel couldn't McDaniel it up anymore. He McDanieled again. Can I coin that term? The McDaniel?
Sure. Frankie.
This was a McDaniel.
Frankie, Ben's saying that Bryce Young had nothing to do with the comeback, and it was all Miami just blowing it. Do you agree?
Not at all. I think Carolina showed up to play some football. Excuse me. Bryce Young was not horrific in this game. There was plays that were made. Their game was solid, and they won that game fair and square, and it wasn't all necessarily Miami shit in the bed. Miami has their problems, but Miami should have won that game. Maybe they went in there thinking they had the game won before they even suited up. So, no, I think Carolina won that game. I think they deserved to win that game. And it gave me the little bit of, I guess, motivation I need to maybe feel a little better about the Bryce Young experiment, because I'm not sold on him yet. It might take a while, but he showed up. He played ball and got dirty, as we would like to call it.
Can I chime in on this Bryce Young thing?
I mean, I gave you an opportunity, and you said...
No, I meant more long-term here, because I think Bryce Young could be a decent quarterback somewhere else. But the fact that he's in Carolina, and the fact that this franchise has proven to be incompetent, Frankie has talked about it.
Yeah, but think about this. They were NFC contenders almost the duration of Cam Newton's stay there. They were in the playoffs every year. So
there was very different people in charge.
That's fine. You can't blame it on the franchise. He was drafted number 1 overall, which means you were the worst team. You don't get magically better with one player, typically. So here's the thing. I'm stuck in the middle with you guys. And what I mean by that is I've been a staunch defender of Bryce Young for the duration of his tenure in the NFL. He was absolutely horrible. I was even texting my brother. I was like, you can no longer defend Bryce Young. And that was before halftime of the game. And then what does he do? He goes and completely... It's like he heard my text and was like really mad about it, and then decided, like, I'm not going to let that be my story. I still don't know. I still don't know if he's the guy. I definitely agree with you, Ben. He doesn't have enough players around him, but I don't think that's his fault. Yeah, you could put him on a Super Bowl roster, and he would probably do better. I don't dispute that at all. But you got to play with what you got. And I'm just wondering, if they put the pieces around him, do we think that he could be the guy? And I still don't know. I'm left without answers. But I'm definitely encouraged by what I saw on Sunday. So let's move on. The Raiders going to Indy, man. This game had me jacked up. I just know what Pete Carroll is like when Geno Smith, when their backs are against the wall, and I didn't see any of it. Okay, I think the Raiders, they got the Jets version of Pete Carroll and Geno Smith together. not the Seahawk version, because what I'm seeing is some of the most incompetence I've ever seen on an NFL field. And I want to let Frankie talk about this game first. Ben, I can see your brain is ready to explode with information. But go ahead, Frankie, and then we'll get to Benny.
I was excited when Pete Carroll took the job with the Raiders. I genuinely was excited. I'm like, finally, they might have hired a coach, despite his age. Yeah, he's 70, he's oldest coach in the league. But the man has a way of motivating a team. He's a player's coach, and I thought, the reunion with Geno Smith and him were going to be something, I don't want to say fully magical, but something that would have sparked a little bit more than what we're seeing right now. I'm still kind of on the shocked meter with that whole Raiders thing. I just think the organization as a whole, let's put Pete Carroll, let's put Geno Smith out of the picture. I think that whole franchise is just doomed unless they sell and get new ownership. I think the Davises have buried that franchise into the ground already, and they're in Vegas, and they will always fill that stadium because of where they are. That's why they moved there. So for me, the whole experiment, is it failing? Yes. Is there a way for it to come back? Of course. But the Raiders are not patient. They never have been. They will fire people after 5 minutes of being there. So we'll just have to see how this plays out. But I was genuinely excited about this.
It's a great
this hiring and marriage.
Great point, Frankie, that you're making on that franchise. Look what happened when Washington got rid of their terrible ownership. Ben, is Pete Carroll too stubborn to move on from Geno Smith?
I think that is part of this. There's definitely some stubbornness that led him to wanting Geno Smith.
Specifically, when in your mind will Pete Carroll be beyond reasonably doubt out of his mind with dementia for leaving Geno Smith in?
If the Raiders are 1-9 and Geno has looked like this every single week.
So week 10, you're giving him week 10. All right.
I don't think Geno will last that long. I want to say this. I do not think Geno will last that long. I think Geno is lucky that he is still the starting quarterback today. Pete Carroll.
Who else do they got? Like, who's their backup? Minshew, or did he move on?
No, who is it? I know.
See, we don't even know. Like,
the Raiders are the team that should have traded for Joe Flacco today. That would have been a more interesting move.
Okay, let me ask you guys this, and just, real quick answer, if you can. Who out there would you go for if there's somebody out there? Who would you look at?
If you're the Raiders, there's really nobody you can just...
Kenny Pickett is their backup right now. Would you go with him?
I would. Pickett looked good in Philly last year. Why not? Your season's over, guys. It's over right now. You're 1-4. You're not making the playoffs.
Well, statistically, there's time, but let's be honest. When you're Kansas City and the Chargers, and look what Denver's putting together, is something pretty special. Let's move on from that game. But let's talk about Indianapolis first. Are they the real deal, Ben?
There is not a team in the AFC South that I think is the real deal, but somebody's going to win this thing, and we're going to talk about the Jaguars later. The Colts are more of the real deal than the Jaguars are, for sure. They're a lot closer.
Provocative.
They're a lot closer than the Jaguars are, I'll give them that. I don't know if they're there yet. I'm not sold on Daniel Jones. I never really was. We'll see. I'm kind of in a we'll see phase with them. I'm not out on them, but we'll see.
Frankie, thoughts on the Colts?
My thoughts on the Colts is they're balling out right now. You got Danny Dimes lighting up. You got Jonathan Taylor, who's not injured yet. For me to be sold on it, it has to be beyond week 6. They got to get into the double-digit games of the season. Can they stay healthy? Can Jonathan Taylor keep it up? Can the O-line keep blocking? For me, are they playing amazing right now? Of course, they're amazing right now. However, where are they going to be in week 11, week 12? Where are they going to be health-wise? What's their record going to be? They got some games coming up. I'm assuming that they're going to be a little tougher, more challenging. So that's kind of my take on it. I'm not against them. I just haven't seen enough.
All fair points. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We'll be there for it. We will keep you posted. All right, let's move on to the next game, which was the New York Football Giants at New Orleans. We all picked the Giants. Jackson Dart gets an unlikely win in his first start. We thought that he was going to lose that game pretty much. And lo and behold, they pull it off. He's the hero. Do we have a quarterback controversy again in New York? Let's just tell you guys, they lost to New Orleans pretty badly by 12, I think, 14-26. Ben, is there a quarterback controversy in New York again?
I wouldn't call it a controversy at this point. I would call it Brian Daboll is going to do whatever Brian Daboll has to do to try to keep his job, because that's really in the mode he's in right now. And I do think Jackson Dart gives him a better chance of keeping his job than Russell Wilson, albeit not by much, especially not with Malik Neighbors out. You know, I would have been interested to see this game had Malik Neighbors been healthy, because I'm not saying the Giants win this game, but maybe it looks a little better. Maybe it doesn't look like this. Maybe it's 26-23 instead. But I'll give it to Spencer Rattler, though. Yeah. That was the best game I've ever seen him play.
So the only one he's won.
So, Frankie, the New Orleans Saints are bad. We know this. We know the Jets are still figuring things out. They've made some really great draft picks in the last couple drafts, and their defense is absolutely stacked with names. Why couldn't they beat New Orleans?
The Giants, let's put it this way. They put 14 points up without a Malik Neighbors. The defense, they are stacked with names, and I think right now you're seeing true New York football. It's being run as a business. They're their own private corporations. As we all know, the Jets and the Giants are corporations on top of being a franchise in the league. So they make their own internal decisions. Right now, Jackson Dart is not Brian Daboll's choice. He wants Russell Wilson in there. He wants to have that veteran guy that he can spew the playbook out at and hope things go well. So the Jackson Dart thing is not his choice. I just wanted to throw that fact out there. I don't think Jackson Dart is horrible at all. I think for him to come in, win that first game, he came in and the Saints didn't blow him out. They got 26 points to the 14 of the Giants, with the Giants missing some key elements. So I think Daboll, if anything, bought himself another season as the Giants coach, because of losing a Malik Neighbors. That's a big friggin' deal. That's a guy you can toss. I mean, anybody could throw the ball up, and Neighbors will go get that ball, just not the rest of the season. So it's kind of a weird situation there in New York. I think Daboll bought himself some time on the fact that Neighbors blew out his knee, or is it his ankle? I think it was his ankle. But him being out,
it's torn ACL.
Oh, okay.
But here's the deal, guys. The Giants went up 14-0 in this game. They were up 14-0 in the first quarter. And Daboll, when Dart was coming off the field, you can't tell me that he would prefer Russell Wilson at that point. But after what ensued the rest of the game, he looked like a rookie. And he looked like a bad rookie. And I don't know if you can solve that before this week. And I don't know that I wouldn't go back to Russell Wilson at this point. I think maybe you give it another game, because the fans are still like, what the heck, dude? We saw a game and a quarter of excellence, and then the guy absolutely just shat the bed. So we'll see what happens. We got another game to predict this week, and it's going to be fun. Dallas at the Jets. My God. Is there a game that you were looking at on the schedule going, I wouldn't watch that if you gave me tickets and, for free first-class flights to New York and all the food choices that I wanted? I might do it for the food, but I would be asleep for this game. Dallas, despite missing CeeDee Lamb for the season now, they're able to do some shit on offense. And it's crazy to me, because this is since he's gone out, their offense has improved, which is weird. Their defense obviously took a hit. They lost Lawrence to Seattle, and they lost Micah Parsons to the Packers. We know. Ben, what, what's wrong with the Jets? How do you solve the Jets?
The Jets have an ego problem. They have a bunch of guys on that team who have been told they're great before they actually won anything. And it has gone to their heads, and we are seeing that on full display right now. The Jets are doing what the Jets always do, which is they look promising on paper. They hire an exciting coach in Aaron Glenn, and then they proceed to find a way to make it awful. This is what the Jets do, and historically have done. I don't know why anybody's surprised by this, because I could have told you this was going to happen at the start of the year. In fact, I think I did.
I think we all kind of knew what was... Frankie, is Aaron Glenn the right coach for the Jets? You're a divisional guy. What would you have done there?
I wouldn't have hired a defensive coordinated minded coach first and foremost when your defense seems to be the most steady part of the team, of the 53-man roster. I would have definitely brought in an offensive-minded coach. Were there that many offensive-minded coaches on the market? Not really, but they could have talked to a Kellen Moore. They could have brought somebody in there a little bit better. Ben Johnson, I think, maybe turned it down. He might have turned that job down. But no, that was a horrible hire. I think the Jets brought him in to bring some attitude to the building that's much needed, to sell some tickets. Aaron Glenn was a fan favorite when he played there, let's face it. And he wears capri pants, and I haven't officially made fun of him yet for wearing those. It's coming. It's coming. Wear those capri pants, you go 0-6, it's over with, buddy.
That was your first taste. Yeah, the Jets are bad. Dallas is bad, but they're not as bad. I mean, that's the tail of the tape on that one. 37-22 Dallas. Then you've got, in my opinion, what was one of the best games played this week. Denver goes to Philly, where Philly's undefeated. Denver, we knew that Bo Nix was going to take a step forward. We knew that he wasn't going to have this weird sophomore slump that everybody seems to want to talk about. And honestly, to me, he looks like the best quarterback out of that draft. And I know that I'm talking smack now to Jaden Daniels, but I'm really not. He's still great. But Bo Nix had less, and he did more. Did you guys watch this game? I know that I want to talk to Frankie first because you picked Denver.
I did.
This game, why the F did you do that?
I have belief in the Sean Payton defensive scheme. They have a defense right now that's, I think, ranked number 1 or 2 in overall defense, and they go into Philadelphia, and in my humble opinion, Philadelphia is not this greatest show on grass or turf or whatever you want to call them. They're winning games, of course, but they're not exciting yet. A.J. Brown, I don't even think he scored a touchdown this year. If he has, I haven't kept track of it. I just don't think they're that exciting and that great. I don't see them repeating a Super Bowl appearance this year, let alone winning it. So I thought this was a very winnable game by a Denver defense. And Bo Nix, of course, I said in the previous show, he's not who I am fully confident yet running my offense. But after watching this game, he's showing me each and every week that he is growing. And Sean Payton is getting him where he wants him. So I picked the Denver Broncos in that game because I felt more confident in their defense than that of Philadelphia's.
You're crazy, kid. Ben,
yeah, it worked out.
Now, but I want to ask you a question because I didn't bring this up to Frankie, but he's going to have to listen now to what I say. The Eagles gave Saquon Barkley less than 10 touches in this game. How did they expect to win, and can they win moving forward by not engaging Saquon Barkley in the game?
No. It is unbelievable to me. They were ahead until like 5 minutes into the fourth quarter, and they still lost this game.
Yeah.
They led from the first quarter onward to pretty much almost the end of the game. The fact that Denver won this game should have everybody in that Philadelphia operation there looking themselves in the mirror and saying, what the hell? Because Saquon getting only 10 touches, one of those was a catch, by the way, a very nice wheel route touchdown to Saquon from Jalen Hurts. But Frankie touched on it. This team just isn't fun to watch. And generally, good teams are fun to watch. The team up in Seattle's fun to watch. That team in Denver's fun to watch. This Eagles team is slow, and they don't really do much exciting. What do they do that's exciting? Are you calling the tush push exciting? No. Like, they're just there most of the time. They just kind of hang around and find a way to win these games. I was shocked they lost this game because they were ahead for so long, and it felt like they were one touchdown away from just killing this game off. But Bo Nix, got to give it to him. I don't think he's the best quarterback in this draft class. I think he's a good quarterback, not great.
Who you got? Who's your guy?
Jane Daniels is a future MVP. Bo Nix is not. That's the difference here.
Oh, wow.
I disagree with that.
Ooh, I like the spice though. I like the conviction. I think you're wrong, but only time will tell. And we'll be here for it. All right, let's move on. Both Frankie and I picked Philly, and we were wrong. It was 21-17.
No, I took Denver.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Me and Ben picked Philly. Sorry, I want to give you every loss that I possibly can, Frankie. I think it's fun. All right, we've got Tennessee at Arizona. This game blew my effing mind, dude. What are you doing? How many times do we have to see somebody not cross the goal line and drop the ball? Only
Why do they do that?
Go so poorly. It never goes the right way. Your team isn't there to pick it up and be like, you dummy, I'll score since you don't want to. It always goes the other way. And wow. They blew this game in every possible way. And I love it because I hate Arizona. But Tennessee is now, they've got to win now. They've got to win. And Ben, are you as dumbfounded as I am at how many times you can see somebody drop a ball a yard before they're in the end zone?
I am dumbfounded by the amount of times it's happened, but am I surprised that this Arizona Cardinals team committed that sin? No, absolutely not. I'm not surprised that this Arizona Cardinals team did this. They're horrible. Both of these teams suck. The Titans.
Okay, yeah, we're talking about the Titans, who, again, we know they had the first pick of the draft. They're a terrible team. I love that Tyler Lockett made the recovery on that play. But, Frankie, let me ask you this. Okay? What do you do to a player that does that? What is he on your roster the next week?
Yeah, he's on my roster the next week, and he's not going to do that again. I would probably.
Okay, how do you ensure that, Coach?
If he does it again, then he's going to get benched. I mean, that's a really open-ended question because these are your guys that score the points. I think it has to be emphasized that they need to carry the damn ball into the end zone and wait for those referees to put their hands up and say touchdown before they start celebrating. Didn't we learn that back when the Bills lost to the Cowboys in that blowout in the Super Bowl? And Don Beebe chased them 150 yards and knocked the ball out of his hands. Leon Lett, I think it was. You would think by now that they would understand, get in the end zone, then celebrate. But these are kids. They got tons of money. They got egos. They want to look flashy. I think it'll happen again before the season's over. It'll definitely happen again, but I don't think it'll happen again. With the couple people that have done it so far, it won't happen again with them. I wouldn't dig too deep into that.
How do you even begin to express your frustration as a coach when a player does something like that? You guys remember Barry Sanders? I'm going to score a touchdown. I'm going to make sure that I have the ball when I get in there, and I'm going to hand it to the official. That was...
Class act.
I miss those days. Anyway, we all picked Arizona to lose or to win, and we all lost.
I thought the Titans were not going to win a game all year. I was going to pick against them every single week, and I still will.
I may join you after that garbage. All right, now this is something I didn't want to talk about today, but unfortunately we have to talk about it. Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield, who in my opinion is a definite front runner for MVP right now, comes to Seattle to play a team that's still unproven, unchecked. Really. I don't want to make excuses, but there were 6 starters on defense missing from this game. Julian Love and Devin Witherspoon and DeMarcus Lawrence. Those are 3 pretty big gaping holes in a defense that clearly was not prepared to stop the attack of Baker Mayfield, who went blow for blow with Sam Darnold, who had 4 touchdowns and 370 some yards before throwing an interception on the final drive of the game. It was up and down, up and down. Second half was absolutely nuts and ended on a field goal 38-35 because of that Sam Darnold interception. Now, before I ask you guys, Ben, I'm going to talk to you first because you were with Sam Darnold last season. He certainly was great for a majority of the season, and then he just had 2 really bad games at the end. We all know this is well documented. These 2 turnovers that he has that have cost us games now, is this something I need to be worried about with Sam?
Yes.
Okay, how so? He didn't do this last year.
He didn't do it last year because he had the modern definition of a guru running his offense, and Kevin O'Connell scripted almost every play of every game for him. They're not doing that in Seattle.
No.
Kevin O'Connell babied Sam Darnold last year. That's why Sam Darnold looked that good. Kevin O'Connell made it really, really simple for him. Now Sam Darnold is out in the wild being an adult Sam Darnold because he's not a baby anymore. Now he's Big Boy Sam. And now Big Boy Sam has to learn what it means to be an NFL quarterback for somebody who isn't going to nurture you. And it's worked some of the time in Seattle, right? Like, he was good for most of that game.
Well, let me break this down for you a little bit before I move to Frankie for his thoughts. He was, like I said, had 3 incompletions all game before that interception, 370 some yards, and 4 touchdowns. If he doesn't make that interception, Seattle wins the game. You're talking about him being in the MVP conversation. So I'm not going to let that one interception bring me all the way down.
He's done it twice now, Damon, and you saw what happened last year in the playoffs.
I'm not going to let that interception bring it all the way down to the level. Frankie, you can comment what you want, but I have a question for you. Seattle did not want to have to trade Geno Smith, but they offered him money. He didn't want that money. He has said since that he didn't feel like he was basically in Russell Wilson's shadow and never had Seattle as his team. Sam Darnold comes in and it's clearly not Russell Wilson's team. It's clearly Sam Darnold's team. It's the guy they want. Clint Kubiak is where he had his most success. He's the offensive coordinator. What do you see in this Seattle team other than like massive disappointment and losing a home game like that?
My humble opinion, you're 3-2. Sam Darnold threw an interception. Any professional NFL quarterback's going to tell you you're going to get more interceptions when you throw the ball more times. And if he's throwing over 370 yards, a couple touchdowns, and he's running that game and he throws 1 interception, do you throw that whole entire loss on him? You could. Excuse me. But that's not a fair thing to do because there could have been a lot of things that went wrong in that play for that interception to happen. So, no, I think Sam Darnold's a good fit for you guys. In fact, he's doing a lot better than I thought he would do.
Me too.
I think he's a better fit than that of Geno Smith. I think he's matched up with the right coach, being Kubiak. So, no, I don't see this one interception defining the season at all. I think the Seahawks are going to fare well moving forward, to be truthful.
The reason I brought it up to begin with is because week 1 we lost to the 49ers on a fumble that his own lineman ran into him and knocked the ball out of his hand.
Right, not his fault.
Both of our losses are in crucial times in big leverage games that we really need. Both NFC teams that are going to factor in playoff positioning and so forth. Ben, I will begrudgingly give you the last word on this game.
I just want to state that Baker Mayfield is the MVP through a month. Like, unquestionably, at this point. We're a month into the season, and this guy has been incredible every single week.
I can't argue.
29 of 33, 379 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Tampa had a couple of drops there. He would have been over 400 if they catch those.
I can say this, if the playoffs were to start tomorrow, the Seattle Seahawks have a wild card spot. Yeah.
Something.
I think the Seahawks are a playoff team.
To go.
I think the Seahawks are a playoff team. I think if Baker wins MVP, this is going to be a game we talk about as part of his MVP case if he wins it.
Well, let's make the case. All right. He's, what, they're 4-1?
Yep.
And he's had a fourth quarter comeback in
Every game.
But let's be realistic here. The interception was on like the 30-yard line. So he was already in field goal range. But that doesn't negate the fact that we scored and then he scored in the fourth quarter to bring them back up ahead to put the game in there.
I just want to state that to win MVP, you probably have to be a top 2 seed, right? That's usually how it goes. There's no reason Tampa can't be a top 2 seed right now. With what we saw from Philly this week and with the way it looks like the rest of that division is going to go.
Yeah, wide open. I mean, the Packers are a wild card at this point, too. So I don't mean a literal wild card. I just mean in what they actually
in general.
Have. So, all right, let's move on. My heart is still broken over this game. Let's talk about Detroit, Cincinnati. We have to, unfortunately, talk about this game. We kind of knew the story going in. Detroit's scoring a lot of points, you guys, and we got a big game coming up this week. But before we can do that, we got to talk about how they kind of stuck it to Cincinnati. They had garbage touchdowns, Cincinnati did, in my opinion. It was a worse look than it was. What'd you got? We all picked Detroit, so go ahead. Give me Frankie, you go first.
It wasn't as much of a blowout as everyone thinks. I mean, yeah, there was some garbage points put up by Cincinnati, but they did manage to put 24 points on the board to the 37 that Detroit put up. Was it a 50 burger? No. So Detroit is beatable. I think the Bills proved that last year when they went in there and beat them on their own home turf. So they are beatable. They were beatable week one. We thought, wow, after week one, they're going to suck ass, and they bounced back. So I can't say for sure that this was as big of a blowout as people are making it seem. Despite the Bengals in this game, they fought till the end, really. But I mean, I don't have really too much to say about it, except it wasn't like they blew them out 55-4. It wasn't that kind of game.
Ben, do you think Cincinnati? I mean, we already know where their season's going the way it is. Do you think with the addition of Joe Flacco now that just being a fighter is going to be good enough for the fans?
Unless this Cincinnati fan base is getting incredibly impatient with ownership, and rightfully so, and they're getting incredibly impatient with Zach Taylor, and again, rightfully so. The lone hope for Cincinnati is this. Their O-line magically transforms into something competent, and Joe Flacco turns the clock back to 2012. Because if Joe Flacco can just keep them not dead, which is what they would have been with Jake Browning, by the time Joe Burrow comes back, yeah, then maybe we can have the conversation about, oh, Flacco saved their season. But I don't think that's going to happen because I don't think they have the O-line to do it.
Great. And Joe Flacco is there until Joe Burrow comes back sometime in December. So
if Joe Flacco doesn't get hurt, let's
talk about it then. All right, we got to move on. Washington at the Chargers. Frankie, you picked Washington. We both picked the Chargers. I'm starting to learn a lot about this Chargers team, and that's that I can't trust them. Why can't I trust the Chargers, Frankie? And why did you know?
I just don't like Herbert's style of play. I think he makes mistakes, and he's not a Super Bowl caliber quarterback yet. I'll throw the word "yet" in there to be cautious to those Herbert fans. And if anybody disagrees with me, drop a comment for sure. I just don't think Herbert's the guy. I know he's a great player. They're trying to compare him to Josh Allen, and when they do that, I laugh. They're saying that he's so much. He's so physically talented, this, that, and the other thing, but I don't see him running around like a Josh Allen. I don't think he's as smart as a Josh Allen. He's a jag. He's just a guy, in my opinion. So picking Washington, I have confidence in their coaching staff, Dan Quinn, their defensive-minded coach. They have an offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury, who's very good with quarterbacks, especially rookies, and he's got Jaden Daniels playing some ball. I didn't think for a second or think twice about picking Washington in this one.
I also like Dan Quinn a lot. But, all right, Ben is... We know the Chargers from the San Diego days. We know that Phillip Rivers is... He's a Hall of Fame quarterback, but he didn't ever really do anything. Is this the trajectory for Justin Herbert?
Unfortunately, I think so, because this is another instance of Chargers gonna Charger. This was a winnable game for them going in. They went up 10-0, and proceeded not to score again for the rest of the game. What? Chargers gonna Charger, I guess. Jaden Daniels wasn't great in this game, by the way, 15 of 26. Like, he wasn't awesome here. And the Commanders still blew their doors off 27-10. That just shouldn't have been possible.
At home.
At home, that shouldn't have happened. If you go up 10-0 against this Commanders team, you have to keep the pressure on. Because this is what they'll do.
I agree. So we'll see what happens with both these teams moving forward. We have, and I know that this is going to bring some pain here for Frankie. Our little Frankie. We'll hold you afterwards, my friend. I did a thing with you before the season started where we went game by game. You called this a loss.
I did.
In your season predictions. And then boldly on the call sheet this week, you had it as a win.
Yes.
It changed your mind, and then what happened to revert back to your initial prediction of the Bills losing?
Well, when you're 4-0 and you're beating teams like the Ravens in the last few seconds, and to me, I was like, well, you know what? Things changed, and I changed my mind, thinking, man, maybe they could go 5-0.
I gotta call bullshit for a second.
Yeah, hey, that's fine. I did,
here. And I want to tell you why. Because when we did this preseason thing, you were 4-0. You
Yep.
had 4 wins going into this game.
Yep.
So physically, nothing changed between reality and your predictions until this. So what is it? And I'm requiring some emotional honesty here from you.
Maybe it's because I'm too emotionally involved with this team. I want them to go undefeated every year, but I should have probably stuck to my guns.
There you go.
Because it was a trap game, and we did lose. Only by 3 points, but we did lose. And Stephon Diggs lit us up, and that's just the way it was supposed to go. That was the narrative.
Did it feel awful to have Stephon Diggs be the one that just crushed your souls?
Yeah, I was kind of at one point hoping that he would slip on the fake AstroTurf and reignite that injury, but it didn't happen.
Fair enough. Ben, we all picked Buffalo. Why wouldn't we? Drake May hasn't proven to be any real threat, but he's of that same quarterback class of Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels. Does he belong in that conversation with those guys?
They call him Drake maybe for a reason, because he might be, but he also might not be. I have no idea what Drake May is right now. I have seen 2 Patriots games this year, and they have been polar opposite performances from Drake May. I don't know how else to put it. I've seen 2 Patriots games. He played terrible in one of them, and Sunday night he was great, at least in the second half. So, what is he? I don't know. He might be good.
You know what? I actually like what you had to say on this. Not that I hate what you have to say on everything else, but this one, you started out by saying Drake maybe. That's one I'd never heard before, so thank you for that one. All right, so the last game of the week was Kansas City at Jacksonville. Ben, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. You said Jacksonville was going to win this game. I know Frankie was going to say Kansas City because he just hates Trevor Lawrence's hair for no reason whatsoever, other than I think maybe he's jealous.
No.
You're jealous. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say that you're jealous every time you bring up Trevor Lawrence's hair. Because, I mean, goddamn. We look like hard-boiled eggs, dude.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ben, what? Again, you son of a bitch. Why
He likes his
why
hair.
did you pick this?
I just had to go off instinct.
No, hold, before you answer, I want to dig into my question a little bit harder. Jacksonville sucks. No one cares. I hate this team. They don't have anybody.
I still think
Why did we Kansas City? Why? Why? How?
they are okay. So in the NFL, we see this every year. There's one team that bullshits their way through half the season, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, they're going to be a playoff team. You know, look at Minnesota a couple of years ago before the Kirk Cousins injury. Look at last year, there was a couple of teams. Jacksonville has done this numerous times. We've seen the Jaguars do this exact thing numerous times where they look great to start the season and then just completely fall off a cliff. That is going to happen again. As for why I picked them to win this game, the Chiefs in the Mahomes era have always lost like 2 stupid games a year that they have no business losing, and I just saw this being one of them. Because why not?
I mean, I agree with you, but I felt like the first 2 games of the season were those for them. Frankie, what does this mean for Kansas City?
What does this mean for Kansas City? Do I still see them finding a playoff spot, even if it is a wild card? Yes. I think it's the beginning of the end. I really do. I think it's the beginning of the end. I think their little clique there is getting a little screwed up, and I hate to bring off the field nonsense into the locker room, but let's face it, we got a Taylor Swift, we got Kelsey's in love, and Mahomes isn't himself, and they're all kind of off sync, and things just aren't. I mean, I don't think anybody's really afraid to play Kansas City anymore. It was to the point where people just thought they were going to lose no matter what. But I haven't been really impressed with this Kansas City team for the last few years. I don't think they're that great. I think that you're starting to just see more clearly now that they're not that great. And you're seeing it more clearly now just because other teams are coming out and beating them. Well, maybe they aren't that great.
Ben, 10 seconds. Go.
I just want to chime in on the end of this game. And I'm going to need more than 10 seconds. I'm going to need 15. So the end of this game, the game-winning play of this game, was the Jaguars had just gotten a pass interference call. They were at the goal line pretty much. Lawrence takes the snap, drops back, falls, gets up, falls again, and proceeds to somehow have the time to run into the end zone. He ran all the way to the outside of the line, pretty much to the sideline, and dove into the end zone. How did he have that much time? What are you doing?
You know what? Have you ever heard the phrase BDE?
What?
It stands for Big Dick Energy, bro.
It has nothing to do with Trevor Lawrence. The Chiefs just are incompetent right now.
That's what he brings. That's what he brings to the table. That's what he brings to the bedroom. And that in his flowing locks of amazing, gorgeous blonde hair that...
And we all saw Chris Jones just stand there and watch him run in.
He was like, God damn, that's a beautiful man.
He got a little distracted.
As he ran by. But you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because I was thinking when you said pass interference that you were going to talk about the egregious pass interference that was called that allowed Kansas City to score their final touchdown to bring them even close to this game. And this has happened so many times. And I just want to call out the NFL and say, Kansas City doesn't need your help. I realize that they make you billions of dollars because of Kelsey and Swift. But we don't need to see them in the Super Bowl again. They don't need your help. They have what potentially is the new GOAT on their team in Patrick Mahomes. I don't see it, but I've never seen it. But I digress. That's the season. That's week 5. The bye teams were Atlanta, Chicago, Green Bay, and Pittsburgh. They did not have games, therefore we will not discuss them. All right, guys. It was a shitty week for two of us. We are living in hell, NFL. Frankie, I don't think either one of us are truly in NFL. I don't think any of the three of us are. Honestly, Ben's team is performing far greater than they should, given what we know. Although it's hard to say that with the roster that they have.
I'm in hell with Carson Wentz and
Fair,
JJ
dude.
McCarthy.
It's fair. That's fair. I want you to think about this. Who on your bye week? What team are you going to be calling when JJ just shits the bed? Because you're not going to go back to Wentz. All right.
Hopefully the Rams shit the bed and we can get Stafford.
That's
That would
week
be nice.
5. That's week 5. Well, the Rams are only going to shit the bed if Stafford gets hurt. I mean, let's be honest. They've got receivers out the wazoo, and their defense does enough, usually. All right, guys, let's move on to week 6. Are you guys excited for this week?
I am.
I really am, dude.
I'm excited because the Vikings aren't playing.
I have to I have to tell you, my excitement level comes because of how poorly we all picked last week's games. That just lets us know that, like, we're picking the teams that we think are going to win, folks. We're not trying to like deceive you. I'm not trying to pick games to like beat these guys. I really want to beat them on the merits of I chose the correct game, and I hope that they're playing it this way as well. And we'll get updated scores for you guys on where we're at during sometime during this week because I want you guys all to know and be able to track it. And also would love it if you'd play along every week. All you got to do is respond in the comments who you think's going to win. I got great prizes that I'll give you if you can beat all three of us, which you easily could have done this week. All right, week 6, guys. Thursday night football is Philadelphia at New York. You've got the boring Eagles. The boring Eagles are going into the mouth of New Jersey for this game. And what do we have? We have Jackson Dart looked great for a quarter against the Saints. And then the wheels came off. Ben, I ask you again, is there a controversy at quarterback in New York if Dart does not win this game?
They're not going to win this game. Even if Jackson Dart could play out of his mind on Thursday night. And they could put up 31 points, but if the Eagles score 38 and win the game, there's no quarterback controversy. They're going to lose this game no matter how Jackson Dart plays. This is going to be a blowout. Listen, most people probably, unless you're an Eagles or a Giants fan, you're probably not going to watch this game. This is that stinker Thursday night game that we used to get back in the day when it was on the NFL Network. Just one really good team against one really bad team, and that's all we'd ever get. This kind of reminds me of that. This is the Eagles' game to lose.
I love division rival games.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be tuned in. And it's the only game, and I love football. So anytime I can get that, I'll be watching tomorrow night, barring playoff baseball, of course. I have Philly in this game because I think that they realized they massively underused Saquon Barkley in that game. But Frankie, do you suppose that there's an option or a way towards victory for the Giants in this game, or are you going to go with Philly?
I'm going with Philly in this one. I just think right now the Eagles are 4-1. Their wins haven't been pretty. They haven't been exciting. They haven't been lighting up the scoreboard as they used to. I just think right now, with it being a divisional game, the Giants are 1-4. They just, I don't think Jackson Dart is going to be ready for this, this prime time Thursday night thing. I think the lights are going to blind him. So I'm going to take the Eagles in this one. I'm not even going to give you a score. It might just be a really boring game altogether, but Philly fans will definitely watch it, and Giants fans will watch it too, just because they want to see if Jackson Dart is that next guy in line. So it might be more watched than you think, Ben, but I'm going to take the Eagles.
Yeah, there's a couple things that I like about this game, and I like Saquon Barkley going back to New York. I like that storyline. I think he's a really good dude. Like every time I've heard him speak, he's just a good dude. And he could have broken the record last year for rushing yards against this team that refused to pay him the money that he deserved.
And he
He
didn't.
elected to save his body for the playoffs, and lo and behold, they go win a Super Bowl, and you didn't rub it in their faces. I like that. I like that type of mentality. That said, I know that he's going to have to get the ball more than 6 times. 6 times he got the ball in that game. And that's the key to them winning. That said, the defense for the Giants, they're not going to back down from him. They're going to want every minute of that. And that alone gives me the taste of whatever I need to watch this game. And
What?
I'm going with Philly.
The taste?
Hey,
Are you on drugs? What?
That's basically the parallel that I was making. Thank you for being intellectually intelligent enough to understand the reference.
You
Philly. All right, guys. Denver. Now, this is a game that I will be absolutely waking up for at 8:30 in the morning Central Standard Time, 9:30 Eastern, to watch Denver play the Jets in London, in London town. Big Ben in full effect. I'll let you go first since you're the name of the clock thing in London. Ben, what do you prognosticate for this game?
Okay, I want to start by saying Vegas needs to get a little more aggressive. The line on this game is only 7.5. It should be 12, at least, because this Jets team is so bad, and the Broncos, for their faults, and they have a few, are not. The Broncos are a good team. The Broncos are probably a playoff team, and the Jets now have a chance and might actually be picking first overall in the draft.
Fair.
Denver.
Frankie, oh, you got Denver. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you for making a pick. Frankie, before I make my pick, actually, I'll just get it out of the way, and I'll say I'm going with Denver also. But Frankie, the Jets have not won yet. But have you ever thought about the notion or seen it with your own eyes of a team playing down to their competition? This game is
Yes.
overseas. That could boost one team and hurt another. But then you also have what's got to be enormously frustrating as a Jet to not have a win and be like, we could do this. What do you got in this game?
I want to be that guy this week. I promised myself after I saw the results of my pick'ems last week that I need to be a little more serious and sophisticated when I make these picks. The Jets have to win a game this year. I mean, there's got to be a game that they win. If it's at the end where there's playoff teams sitting half their team and they get to win a game, okay, good. I don't think going to London is going to help their cause. The only thing that might be cool is their coach's capri pants will fit in a little bit better over there in London. I'm going to take Denver in this one because I think they're coming off that big win, and I think they're going to carry that right over. And they're just, I want to say it's going to be a high scoring game on Denver's side. I want to say that Bo Nix has a pretty good game, and that their defense just completely pummels Justin Fields. I take Denver in this one, not by a gazillion, but by 2 scores at least.
All right, 2 scores is a gazillion in football, just so you guys know. All right, we got the regular schedule, the early lineup. You got the Rams, Matthew Stafford and the Rams traveling to Baltimore to face the Ravens, who may or may not have Lamar Jackson. He's not yet been cleared to play. Frankie, coming to you first. What's the best thing about this Rams team through week 5? And is it enough to beat a team with or without Lamar?
I think they have every tool necessary. They're 3-2. Matt Stafford is being Matt Stafford. I think Puka Nacua is getting more involved. They're starting to get Devontae Adams a little bit more involved. The running game is great, except for that one little fumble there at the end of overtime last week. So I see them just progressively getting a little bit better as the season goes along. going, into Baltimore right now. Baltimore is not a place you want to play right now. You got Cooper Rush as your backup quarterback. He's awful. And we all know that Derrick Henry hasn't been himself. The only hope that they have on offense really is Derrick Henry running the ball. They're going to probably outrun him. And bad things happen when you run a guy too much, too. There's a balance. So I'm gonna take the Rams in this one. I think the Rams are gonna come back from that terrible loss, and they're gonna win this one.
Okay, Ben, you heard him. He says the Rams are going to win. Tell him why he's wrong.
I can't. He's right.
Goddamn Skippy.
He's just 100% right. With or without Lamar, I pick the Rams in this game. I think that Thursday night game was so weird and so fluky, and it was a Thursday night game, and those games always end up stupid somehow. And they lose stupid games sometimes. Everybody does it. I think all of us can remember a game that we could say our team definitely should have won that they did not. And that's last week for the Rams. I've got the Rams in this one. I just don't see any way for Baltimore to come back from this.
Looking at these games, these teams' games from week 5, and both of them were kind of fluky. One was a blowout, and you can attribute that to them not having Lamar. The other one is the Rams team losing to a completely depleted 49ers team, who I don't really think is that great of a team. Time will tell on that one. But, I think I go for the Rams losing if Lamar plays. I don't think he's going to play. Therefore, all three of us, 9 out of 9, have taken the same teams. I'm taking the Rams in this one. All right, but that's okay, because I know diversity is about to come. We got Dallas at Carolina. Wow. This is a fun game, guys. I realize that these teams are not great.
No.
That does not mean you cannot watch or find a quality product within these individual games. If you take the totality out of where they are in the division standings and whatnot, and just look at the two teams playing each other, we get to watch Dallas's offense. Can they continue the streak that they're on? You got Carolina, the continuation of Bryce Young coming into his own. We don't know what we're going to see. Ben, I'm going to let you go to town on this. Who you got and why?
First of all, Roger Goodell should hire you as a marketing spokesman for the NFL, because that was a tremendous way to try and sell this game. I am complimenting you. That was great salesmanship. I buy none of it. Okay?
Jeez.
This game, I'm picking Dallas, but I will put an asterisk. I will not be surprised if this is Dallas' second tie of the year. There's a way this game ends in a tie, folks.
Don't forget that you can pick tie, you guys.
I'm not picking a tie in this game, but this is the closest I have come to picking a tie. And no, I'm not kidding. This is going to be like a 24-24, 27-24 type game. Carolina's going to hang around. Bryce Young doesn't do anything until he's down by 17 points. Anything can happen here, I grant you, but nothing will. I'm picking Dallas. Why pick anybody else?
All right, Frankie, is he wrong?
Man, I so badly want to pick Carolina. And the reason I say that is because if you look at the records of these two teams, you got 2-3 Carolina and you got 2-2 Dallas. They're the same team on paper. You are what your record says you are. Bill Parcells said that. So can Dallas go into Carolina and rock them? Oh my God, I hate picking this game. I almost am tempted to pull up my orange pen here, but I'm not. I'm not ready yet. I'm just going to pick Dallas because my gut tells me Dallas will go in there and take care of business. Bryce Young.
So, hold on. So you're saying if it was a trap game, it would be a trap game for Dallas?
It would be, yes.
So they're the favorites in your minds?
The favorites in my mind are Dallas right now. I think they go and win that game, but if I was to put up my orange pen, which I'm not officially, Carolina wins that game. But I'm taking Dallas on the road. I don't see Carolina getting through Dallas.
Can I point something out?
Yeah.
Both of Carolina's wins feel very fluky to me. We talk about flukes, right? Both of their wins feel fluky.
Their wins.
This team could be 0-5. They have played like an 0-5 team for most of the season. I don't know how you pick Carolina here.
I'm gonna.
How? Why?
This is my last crack at Bryce Young. I will officially. If they can't beat this Dallas team at home, they
can't.
They can't fix this in the draft. That's all I'm going to say. All right, let's move on. Arizona at Indianapolis. I love this game. I think it is a trap game for Indianapolis, but I'm not quite, and I'm going to throw up the trap game graphic that we made for this scenario based on Frankie J's orange pen. It's quite a great. It's probably the best graphic that's ever been made. You'll love it. You'll love it. Great graphic. But I got Indianapolis. I just feel like when I saw Arizona choke away their win, they had a win. They choked it away. And I just don't see them even being able to compete with this Indianapolis team. Frankie, what do you say?
Arizona's their choke artist, and Danny Dimes right now, he's not going to lose this game at home. It's the Lucas Oil Stadium. Indianapolis is pumped. They got a winner now, 4-1, going into a week 6 with Danny Dimes. I don't see that changing this week anyway, so I'm going to very comfortably pick Indianapolis in this one. And sorry, Arizona, you just suck right now.
All right, Ben. Counter.
After that game last week, after seeing what I saw last week, I am putting Arizona in the always bet against them bucket right there with the Titans. They are now in the same bucket as the team that beat them. I am not picking the Cardinals for the rest of the year. Write that down. I'm picking the Colts in this game by a billion.
I really hope that Arizona plays the Jets later.
I will have to pick a tie in that situation.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. You're going to be able to weasel your way out of that statement with a tie. All right, guys. Now we got Seattle at Jacksonville. We got Sam Darnold reclamation story against the flowing locks of Trevor Lawrence. Frankie, tell me why Seattle's going to win.
I want to pick Seattle. I really do. Because I have to go with the locks of love right now because he's coming off a big win on his birthday. He's 26 now. He's all grown up. So I think, going home, playing 2 weeks in a row at home, one of which is your birthday, a big win against the Kansas City Chiefs team. I think that carries over. I like Jacksonville this week, honestly. And I like Seattle. I'm a fan of your team, Seattle, as you know. I just don't think Darnold's going to take the trip well, and I don't really think they're going to be able to beat the hype right now behind the locks of love. So I like Jacksonville.
All right, Ben. Tell him why he's wrong.
I like Trevor Lawrence more than he does, for the record.
Oh, I like him more than both of you guys put together.
Well, certainly. I just don't like this Jaguars team. I've said it since the beginning of the year. I'm not changing my story on that. This team is a mirage, and that is being nice. I'm picking the Seahawks, and I could see this being a blowout.
Wow.
I want to give you a hug. I want to give you a hug.
Do you want the yellow pen?
I am not confident in this game. Frankie's throwing the flag. He's like, illegal touching. Fair. All right. I can't pick against Seattle in this game after what I saw on offense. It really comes down to we've got 3 of our guys on defense that are questionable for this game. I'm not hopeful that they're going to be there for it, but I just have to think 2 guys aren't going to beat us. And Travis Hunter should be mentioned, you guys. He made some spectacular plays in that game.
He's great.
But, I mean, those plays are only possible because of the scrambling ability of Trevor Lawrence. He was amazing. So, there's that. Anyway, I'm going to pick Seattle. unconfidently, and we'll see where the chips fall. Frankie, you may be getting a game up on both of us. I hope not, though. That's what I'm not.
Have some faith
Have a little
in the ginger god.
All right. Now we got this is the game of the week, Ben. We got the Chargers at the Dolphins.
I'm gonna puke.
Let's just spend about 8 seconds on this each. Go ahead, Ben. You're gonna puke. Why?
I hate this game. This is a stupid game. Don't make me watch this. I'm picking the Chargers. No more Tua.
No more Tua. All right, Frankie. I know that you really hate Justin Herbert. So tell me why Miami can beat him.
Miami won't beat them. They can't beat them. That's so. I don't know what to say to that one.
I gaslighted you a little bit there.
Yeah, a little bit. It's a hybrid, so we're good. I'm taking the Chargers in this one. I think Miami's just a train wreck. I still can't believe the McDaniel experiment's still going on. I don't get it. Dan Marino's part of the front office there. When do you end the madness? When do you send this guy packing and take away his Elvis Presley sunglasses? It's just time. Miami's done. They're toast. They're smoked. Tyreek's out for the year with a blown-up leg. Let's put it that way. It's just, they're done. A-Chain, I don't even know if he's playing this week. They're just not good. They're not good at all. Tua is just not good. The Chargers are going to go in and win that game. They're going to go into Miami and probably put up some good points, I would imagine.
This will be fun if you're a Justin Herbert fan. I will put it that way.
Yeah, probably more so. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I'm of the school that Harbaugh, better coach, wins this one because I think both teams are kind of ass. But I look at McDaniel, that's his name, and I'm like, why is this middle school teacher an NFL coach? He looks like he doesn't look the part, and he certainly doesn't speak the part, and the team certainly doesn't react to anything that he does.
Can we
So
play that clip of McDaniel saying, to win the game, you have to win the game.
win the game, you have to win, guys. I don't know what else.
You have to not lose.
I mean, profound. Profound.
Can we play that clip right now?
I don't know, Billie Jean, do you have that clip? There you go, Ben. She brought it up for you.
Thank you.
Perfect. She's hot.
She is hot.
Why am I here?
All right, we've got Cleveland at Pittsburgh. This is awesome.
Division.
It's a division game. I love it. Both teams I'm not 100% sold on, but somebody's got to prevail in that division, especially while Baltimore is reeling. Ben, Shrewsbury, who wins? Is it Dylan or is it Aaron? Go.
I don't know why you insist on saying this game is awesome. Need I remind you, the Browns are playing. That's all you should have needed to know. And then oh, wait, I can bet on that game because I can pick the other team. I picked the Steelers by a lot. I think Aaron Rodgers looks like old Aaron Rodgers again for 1 week, and I think it's because the Browns just
All right,
suck.
why can I say this game is awesome? This is two of the most rabid fan bases in all of sports.
True insufferable fan bases.
We're talking about millions of people that are going to be tuned into this game like their life depends on it, because it does. Frankie, go ahead.
Cleveland, mistake by the lake. Got $230 million sitting with a bunch of towels on his lap right now, naked in his living room. What a waste of money there. Flacco gone, no chance. It's just Pittsburgh is at home. And is Aaron Rodgers going to play like the old? Yeah, because he is old. So he'll have a good game. He's got his target, DK Metcalf. I think they're starting to hit it off. And I'm not sure if Warren's playing this week, but I don't think he's going to need too much of a running game this week. I think he's going to play some yard ball, and Cleveland's not going to fare well in that. So I take Pittsburgh confidently in this one.
Yeah,
I just want to say,
I don't know a lot of quarterbacks that would not be able to find DK Metcalf down the field. So I'm also going to go with Pittsburgh because I don't think that Cleveland has what it takes to stop DK.
Nope.
I think I could find DK Metcalf streaking down the field.
Great. Let's move on. We got knee versus no. What I mean there is New England at New Orleans. Ben, no. New Orleans is not going to win this game. New England is not good. What do we do? What do we think? Tell me what you think.
Okay, New England is not good, but they're not bad either. New England's in that like middle ground, like this could be the 7th seed, kind of like floating there. They'll play the Saturday noon game against whoever wins the AFC South in wildcard weekend. They're going to win this game. By the way, I want to talk about this on the Patriots side. They have a lot of winnable games coming up where they could win like 4 or 5 games in a row. Right now, they have a lot of winnable games, this being one of them. They're somehow only favored by 3.5. They should be favored by at least 8. This is New England's game, far and away.
Frankie, do you disagree?
Yeah, no, I don't. I just think that the Saints are just not good. Rattler got his first win. I don't see him carrying over home or away. I don't think there's too much hope for that guy. I like New England. They just came off a big win from beating us, the Bills, and they didn't look horrible. Stephon Diggs kind of had a coming out party, I think, the first time in this season that he put up the numbers that he put up in one game. So I like them to carry it over, and I think New England's going to be our division rival in the AFC East. So I think they're going to win this game. I take New England.
Some things never change, Frankie. You got New England stamped on your butt for the rest of your life, sir. All right,
hate 'em.
Here's the deal. Spencer Rattler won the game for New Orleans last week. He got the game ball, and the coach said, whoa, whoa, whoa. Easy there, youngin'. Keep winning games, and we're going to lose the first pick that we need to replace you to the goddamn Jets. So, New Orleans ain't going to win this game. Not even at home. New England, they're getting out of their clam chowder and lobster, and they get crawfish and beignets this week.
Beignets.
So that game is an absolute ass burger. All right, here we go. Tennessee at Las Vegas.
Oh,
you guys, this game, on paper, Ben, I already know on paper it's trash. It's a trash game. But I think
Please don't.
Vegas goes into their home building where Gino actually gets to play in a dome where he apparently is the only place that he can play now. And even that is, who knows? And they've got Cam Ward, the first pick of the draft, coming in to face the Raiders, Ben. I know that you hate this game. I know that you don't care about this game, but I want to know so bad what you think. Go.
I'm picking a tie.
Tie! He's going tie! Frankie, can you believe it?
3-3. That is my predicted score. 3-3.
Oh my God, Frankie, it's a trap. Is that your trap? What is the yellow? Is it a flag? Or
you can't pick a tie, okay?
You can't.
Everybody, leave in the comments if anybody thinks we should be able to pick a tie. I think ties.
Damon says we can. I am following the rules that were given to me.
There are no rules. There's no respect.
I want to hear why there's been a tie this year. If you would have called that, you would have gotten a point for the score. So why? Give me your rationale for not being able to pick a tie.
Because neither one of these teams actually want to play football.
Shut up. See,
no, listen.
You were fine making a tie pick until you say stupid shit like that.
Mental health awareness, here we come.
He's like,
Go watch Geno Smith game tape.
I don't want to.
You think he doesn't
good? That's a good decision.
Why wouldn't you just tell Pete Carroll, you need to put me in, or take me out, I don't want to play?
because they're paying him so much money to play.
Even better.
Him saying he doesn't want to voids that money. It is in the NFL contract.
No, it's not. I mean, I suppose if you came out and said,
It's a conduct policy thing.
you know what? Fact check us, guys. If you tell I'm curious. I'm legit curious.
They could fine him.
I don't want to play. Yeah, I think there's a fine probably. But does it void your contract if you say I don't want to play?
If he retires, because saying I don't want to play leads people to think you're going to retire.
That's fair.
I'm surprised Pete Carroll didn't retire after last week just to save his legacy. I would have.
Well, hold on. I want to go back to Frankie. Frankie, give me a reason why he can't pick a tie. That makes sense. Other than it's a cop-out. If he does it more... How about this? You can only use one a week.
That's the only one I have this week.
You go down the list and go, oh, that's a tie, because you don't care.
Yeah.
I'm invested. Then I agree. But if you want to make that call once a week, I don't care.
I just think that ties are stupid. I talked about this on my show over on my YouTube channel and had a pretty good debate with my other co-hosts. I don't think ties help the game, especially NFL. There's no ties in baseball. You play 34 extra innings if you have to. There's no ties in hockey. They'll do shootout after shootout after shootout unless it's the playoffs. I think the only other sport that you're able to tie in is soccer, which I don't really care about.
In hockey?
Well,
there used to be ties in hockey. There used to be. They got rid of them.
Used to be until they got rid of it because it was stupid. So for me, I think a tie in the NFL ruins the game. It ruins the mindset of these guys.
Okay.
Do you celebrate a win? Do you celebrate a loss? How do you feel?
Can I make my point now? I totally 100% agree with you. The NFL should get rid of ties.
Yep.
It's the worst thing in the world for a paying fan to sit there and watch a tie game. But when we're talking about making picks, you got to be able to make a pick of something that can actually happen as a result.
Okay.
So I agree with you on the rule should be taken away from.
I agree too. The rule sucks.
Of the game ending in a tie, you should be able to call it.
Okay.
The rule sucks.
One a week. I'm only giving you one a week.
So you're picking this game a tie.
Otherwise, you're just
3-3. Neither team can score. Cam Ward is awful, and somehow I think Geno Smith might be worse now. I don't know where that came from, but 3-3.
All right, 3-3. Frankie, Tennessee at Las Vegas.
There's not much to talk about here. I'm just going to take the Raiders at home. I think Crosby's going to be pumped up, and the fans will at least be behind him. Therefore, I think the home stadium, the home field, is going to help. Cam Ward had one good game, big deal, and barely won. I take the Raiders at home on this one. It's just there's not much to talk about there. There's not much narrative.
I agree. Here's the narrative that I have. Brock Bowers is in question for this game, and I think that he's a huge part of the suckage of Geno Smith is not having a tight end to throw to. That hurts him for sure. So, but we'll see. It's not an excuse by any means. This is literally the worst team in the NFL from last year coming into this game. Is Cam Ward their savior? They did win a game. So let's say that might have been the coming out party that he needed. If they win this game, that's 2 games. They should win this game. If you want to think, okay, we're progressing towards something as Tennessee, and that's the way you got to look at it. If you're not a fan of either one of these teams, you got to look at it that way. You got to say, does Tennessee take the step that they should take to beat this team on the road that is struggling? And I say they don't. I say the Raiders win. Let's move on. San Francisco at Tampa Bay. This is a big one, you guys. Two division leaders in Florida that'll be underwater in 3 decades from now.
Yep.
You got San Francisco still banged up, but Bucky is injured. Evans is injured. It didn't matter in Seattle because they had no fucking defense. But San Francisco is also banged up on defense. They're banged up everywhere you can be banged up, guys. They're even banged up at coach. They just hired that coach. So, Frankie, you are looking very pensive right now.
Oh, I look at...
What do you have in this game?
Man, I'm looking at this game going, it's just one of those games I don't even want to pick because there's so many injuries on both sides. I have to... My gut tells me to go with the home team here, and Baker, 4 of his games this year have been comebacks in the last, quarter of the game, and Baker Mayfield is you think he's MVP talk right now. I'm still on the fence with that, but Baker Mayfield, he's not. He's better than Mac Jones, that's for sure. Mac Jones will be on the road, and he was kind of banged up near the end of last game, so I don't think you're going to get a fully healthy Mac Jones. And who backs him up? So I'm going to take the Buccaneers here at home. I just think that their defense will prevail and stop Mac Jones from doing too much. So,
all right, Ben, Frankie's on the fence. Knock him off the fence. Who do
I
you
want
got?
to state that Mac Jones's backup on Sunday will be one Adrian Martinez, and if that sounds like an awful watch to you, I promise you it is. I'm picking Tampa because I think they're the better team, both sides having everybody healthy. I think they're the better team with the injuries that both sides have had. I just don't like this Niners team very much. I didn't like them last year, and they were the year from hell team. I don't like them this year because I think they're worse. I'm picking Tampa, and this is a sneaky, could it get ugly in the fourth quarter game.
All right, great. Here's my thoughts. When you don't know nothing about nothing, you use logic and reason. And when I see both of these teams beat us,
Thank you, Sam Darnold.
I have to look at how they beat us. And San Francisco should not have beat us. Tampa should not have beat us. But the circumstances around those losses were the defense factored into losing Tampa. The Seattle defense is good. They gave up 38 fucking points. That's not going to happen again this year. It's not. Okay? So, with an offense that's that good and against a team that's banged up, it's a no-brainer, you guys. Tampa Bay is all over this at home. San Francisco comes back with the loss, and they're crying in their rice-a-roni. All right, Cincinnati at Green Bay, you guys. The Packers were on parlay last week. They were vacationing with Gobo, and Cincinnati's a train wreck. Go ahead, Frankie. Tell me why this game is happening in Green Bay.
well, it's not going to end in a fucking tie, which is nice. And Micah Parsons and the Packers are going to want to put on a show in front of their home fans. I don't have to think too hard about who's going to win this game. It's obviously going to be Green Bay. Go Bull, if you're out there listening, leave a comment. Let us know you heard this. I'm going with your Green Bay Packers. I think they come back, and they're going to come back throwing up some points.
Ben, we got Joe Flacco in town now.
He's not starting.
He's not starting?
That
was my question. Is Flacco going to play?
Okay, he's not starting, but he's coming in on the second drive. Let's be honest.
Okay.
Let's be honest.
Won't.
And here's the deal, guys. This is the reason they got Joe Flacco. He doesn't have to be with the team for 2 weeks before they can plug him in. He's been in the league for 7,000 years. He knows everything that they're going to have on their playbook, maybe with a few exceptions. He can run a vanilla offense, which is basically what they became when they lost Joe Burrow. So now they just got a guy that's more proficient at doing it, and it's done it way more times than Jake Browning. Ben, what do you got for me?
That was a really nice sales pitch for the Bengals, but no.
Oh, I'm keeping Green Bay all over.
But it is fairly simple in this case. The Bengals, whether it's Jake Browning, Joe Flacco, or Frankie J at quarterback, have no offensive line. And that tends to be a problem, especially when your quarterback is 7,000 years old and immobile, which Joe Flacco is at this point. Even if he plays, he's not going to be able to do the things he would be able to do better than Jake Browning because his O-line in Cleveland wasn't good and he threw 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. I don't see it going much differently for him in Cincinnati. They're going to get smoked here. It's like 43-6 in the third quarter probably. Green Bay's winning this game.
All right. Out of everything you said, what I really want to see is Frankie J under center with his Buffalo Bills tattoo taking a snap for some other team. That would be hilarious. That'd be worth watching this game.
Green 18.
It's a great
Green
bet.
18.
All right, guys, this is a big affair here. We know that Kansas City's on a decline. We can see it. We can smell it. We can taste it. Yes, men, we can taste it. But can we also taste Detroit finally getting into a championship scenario? They go into Kansas City this week. Frankie, I'm going to let you go first on this one. What do you got for Detroit? Jared Goff. Last time they went there, they beat them.
Okay.
What do you got?
Is it going to be the deep dish pizza of Detroit, or is it going to be the Kansas City barbecue? This is my orange caution game of the week.
Everybody, trap game on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Trap game.
game.
I told you earlier here in the show that I think that we have started to see who the real Chiefs are, and it's the beginning of the end for the Chiefs. I see Detroit absolutely romping the Chiefs at home. Chiefs Nation, sorry. Arrowhead, sorry. You're not going to hear that very much. I think the Detroit Lions are going to go in there and just absolutely manhandle them, and that's why I picked this as my orange caution game of the week, because most people will probably pick Kansas City after losing the way they just did to the Jaguars. I just think Detroit's a whole lot different beast than that of Jacksonville, obviously. And this is just going to be the year where Kansas City starts getting their ass lit up at home, too, in the regular season. So I take the Lions as my orange caution game of the week, everybody.
All right, Ben, here's what we got. What if I give you a deep dish pizza with barbecue chicken on it? Then you get
I'm in. But I completely agree with Frankie.
Oh, boy.
This game has every potential to be one of those games where we're hearing Chris Collinsworth talk about chicken in the fourth quarter. Well, Mike, I went down to the barbecue place. And I got to tell you, they don't do barbecue better anywhere else than here in Kansas City. This Patrick Mahomes, Mike, he's so good. Even though he's getting his ass filleted right now. Look, this is simple. Detroit is on the way up. Kansas City's on the way down. And, Patrick Mahomes, he doesn't really have any friends around him anymore.
He makes everything look good.
That's a great Collinsworth impression, by the way. So you're on Detroit. You guys are both on Detroit. I got to be honest with you guys. I was a little shocked when Frankie said this is a trap game. And then he said Detroit's going to win. Detroit should win. If this is a trap game, it would be a trap game for Detroit. And Kansas City would beat them.
No, I said orange caution game.
It's the same thing.
Whatever.
That's why I designed the trap game. That's the same thing.
There's no rules here.
There's no rules.
No respect.
There's no respect. And no shit.
Yeah.
All right. So I can't call that shit. But in my mind, I was thinking, all right, he's going to go with Kansas City. Because clearly they shouldn't beat Detroit right now. At 2 or 3 and whatever. 2 and 3. No. They're going to be 2 and 4.
They're going to be 2 and 4.
We're all on Detroit. Can't be a trap game or an orange caution game, whatever. When all three of us are saying,
Damon, they could.
Shut up! All right, we're moving.
Kansas City could.
Dan Campbell is going to smoke some kneecaps this weekend. All right, forget about it.
They're going to taste really good.
Man, Kansas City dude, I can picture like what you said about the barbecue. They don't do it better anywhere than they do here. Yeah, dude, that was perfect. All right, here we go. Frankie J, you just lost.
Yes, we did.
New England, and that was at home, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
The last time that New England's going to play in that building, they whooped your butts. All right, they didn't really whoop your butts, but they beat.
They beat us.
Doesn't matter. They won by
we're winning this week. We're playing.
So we've got you going to Atlanta.
Yeah, Monday night.
Monday Night Football. First game, and the second one starts an hour later, which is very frustrating. But you're in Atlanta on Monday Night Football, prime time, baby. The second prime time game in a row. At least it's not the Jets. I'll just say that. At least it's not the Jets every goddamn week. Someone figured that out, that's a terrible decision. But we got Buffalo at Atlanta, prime time. how do you bounce back and make sure that you win in Atlanta, which can be a tough place to play?
Well, we go in there and we play Buffalo Bills football from the first snap of the game instead of waiting till the second half like we always do. The Bills go in this week and they make my tattoo worth it. They bounce back. They win. I think they win pretty big in this game. It's the Falcons. They don't have, if you look at their record, they're not that incredible. I don't even know what their record is right now, to be honest with you. I think they're like 2-2. They're a 500 team. We're 4-1. So I like us to go in there Monday night, early prime time, 7:15 versus 8:15. And Chris Stapleton sings the intro with Snoop Dogg, so it's a perfect night for the Bills to feel it come in the air tonight. So I picked the Bills.
Speaking of coming in the air tonight, Ben Shrewsbury, what are your thoughts on this game?
He agrees
Actually,
with me.
I agree with Frankie again. I do.
God, you guys are becoming best friends right before our eyes.
Listen, this Atlanta team sucks. Their 2 wins are against Marcus Mariota and J.J. McCarthy. Not exactly inspiring confidence there.
Right now, if you're on this show and you would not take Drake London and Bijan Robinson on your team, raise your hand right now if you wouldn't take those guys on your team.
I would have picked Bijan, but not anybody else.
All right, fair enough. Go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you.
This Buffalo team is on a mission. I still think they're going to win the Super Bowl. Last week was a stupid game that Frankie will tell you as a Bills fan. They find a way to do this about once a year where they lose a game they absolutely should have won. They're not going to do it again. Josh Allen is too good. He's the best quarterback in the league. It's not even close. This is the Bills game all the way, and it could get ugly at the end.
There could be a fight.
All right, Frankie J, before we move on, I just want to tell you that Cal Raleigh is the MVP of Major League Baseball. Mariners are up 8-1. He's been unstoppable in the playoffs while Aaron Judge is sucking. I'm going to edit this out. I just want you guys to know how fucking excited I am. Frankie J, I'm going to go with Buffalo. I just think that they're going to bounce back. They're going to be fine.
I'm not worried.
This was not even dude. They've got the division. They don't need to worry about it. Certainly, be aware of New England. You don't ever have to worry about the Jets or the Dolphins. They're not ever going to do anything.
Nope.
For years now. They're not going to do anything for years. So, honestly, you got to be happy to know that they've latched on to Drake May and that's going to be your number one quarterback rival until whatever. And you have Josh Allen. You're going to win that division for 10 years in a row.
Oh, we already have.
And it starts here in Atlanta with the comeback tour.
Yep.
I like Michael Penix Jr. He's my boy. Jake Browning's my boy too, but both these guys have a tendency to shit the bed. So Buffalo all the way. Then we got our second game on Monday Night Football, and that is the Chicago Bears at Washington. Let me tell you why this is a good game, Ben. Okay?
It's not.
It's a great game. I'm more excited about this. I mean, if I was a Buffalo fan, obviously, I'd be watching and more excited about the Buffalo-Atlanta game. But you got 3 of the quarterbacks from that draft going on Monday night. And this particular game is 2 of the top tier ones, in my opinion. I know that you guys are not fans of Caleb Williams, but they're still sorting things out. Remember, guys, that team is on their 3rd coach and 3rd coordinator in 3 years. And he's on his 3rd coach and coordinator in 3 years, going back to college, right? So it's going to take him some time to figure it out. He's got some players around him now, and they're not hapless. They're not the hapless Bears anymore. You can't go into that building, either one of your teams, including my team. We can't go into Chicago Soldier Field and say, we know we're coming out with a victory, 100% guaranteed. We just can't say it. If you do, you're being emotionally dishonest. I've got Chicago in this game. I've got Caleb Williams beating Jaden Daniels in Washington and shocking at least this small group of people in this chat. Go ahead, Ben. What do you got?
I don't. think I would ever assume the Vikings are going to go anywhere and win, especially not this year.
Oh,
Like,
I love it.
this is the worst. We're 3-2, but I feel like we're 0-5. Legitimately, we're terrible.
All right, we're talking about the Bears at Washington.
Oh, speaking of terrible, I will be watching the Buffalo Atlanta game.
Okay.
Absolutely, I am more excited for that game than this one. I see no reason why Washington should lose this game. I see nothing in the Bears that tells me, they can beat Jaden Daniels in that offense. No, they can't. They can't beat Dan Quinn's defense.
Want to make a wager on it?
I would love to, because I'm going to win.
All right. How about 5 pesos?
Not even worth my time. Anyway,
That's all I
the
got.
Commanders by 14 at least. The Lions 4.5. It should be 10. This Bears team is going to win like 3 games all year.
Jeez.
Ben, you realize that the line was 10, that the betting would be like, I'm going to take that. Because the winning margin just went from very small to like very large.
Yes, because... But here's the thing. I'm going to start that over. Cut that. Yes, but I think the Commanders are at least 2 touchdowns better than the Bears, maybe 3. The Bears are one of the worst teams in the league. And the Vikings are worse, by the way, but the Bears are awful.
All right, Frankie, what do you got here, buddy?
I take Washington at home. There's really no clear reason why I take Washington at home. I'm just not sold on Caleb Williams. I'm not. I think Ben Johnson. I think you nailed it earlier by saying third coordinator, third coach, blah, 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 blah. You're going into Washington, and they have a lot of hype right now behind Jaden Daniels, and they got a lot of hype behind the coaching staff and the new ownership. I just think Washington is going to be a tough team to beat Monday night under the lights, second and final game of the week. I don't see it happening, so I take Washington in this one. That's really my only valid reasons for doing so.
Very good. There you guys have it. That is week 6 in the bag. We got Houston and Minnesota on well-deserved bye weeks
We have not earned our bye week. Do not give us that credit.
for both teams. Minnesota's got some shit to sort out, so this is a good time to do
It's
it.
going to be their best week ever.
It really is. This is going to be the only week we don't lose.
You aren't going to lose. All right, so I'm James Marvs. We got Frankie J from Raw Live Productions. Make sure to check out his show on his channel, NFL, True NFL?
True NFL over
True
at
NFL.
Raw Live. 2 W's, by the way. 2 W's.
Yeah, that's Raw Live with 2 W's. Then you got Ben Shrewsbury down here. Check out his Twitch, Ben Games 99. And the logos, I do the Dames Marv show, but make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel, the TikTok, wherever you're seeing this. We do this all the time. We'd love to have you return. Billie Jean, take us away. Good job, guys. That was awesome.
Is it really 8-1 Mariners right now?
Yeah.
Oh my God, the Yankees.
This was a Loch 22 production. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe.